You may or may not already know this about me, but I'm a game design student at NYU. Actually, I have no idea how you know that about me. Unless, you're from the future. Pew, 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 pew. Or you just read the title of the video. Right. I forgot about that. Anyway, this is a story of how I came to be a super mega ultra nerd game designer. Or just a regular game designer. It all began when I was in third grade. I was in my school's very first computer lab, and we got to be there once a week. This little field trip we had led to bunches of homework. But I was a nerd as a kid, so I loved the homework. Yeah. I was a teacher's pet. But we can talk about that issue a different time. This week's homework was life-changing for me. We had to research some tech job and tell the class what it entailed. I was mystified by technology since I was a 2000s kid, and it was still becoming intertwined into our daily lives. I had a flip phone since I was 5, and I could work it like the back of my hand. Why a 5-year-old had a phone? Don't ask me, actually. So, the obvious choice for my presentation was something to do with phones. App development. I loved it, and I researched more about the subject and found out you could make games like Flappy Bird on your phone? Crazy, I know, but my third grade brain was blown. That's a tongue twister. I thought it was the coolest thing ever, and ever since then, I wanted to be a game designer. I had always loved playing games like Pokemon, Skylanders, Legends of Zelda, and I just thought that the joy they brought to people was so amazingly cool. I wanted to bring that joy to other people, just like me. Fast forward, me taking loads of computer science classes despite loving art. I had always thought that my identity of being a game designer would mean I had to be a game programmer. Any route to college I looked at, the only majors I saw related were computer science. So I stuck to coding, and I forgot all about any creativity along the way. Beep boop, beep boop. I would still find ways to be creative, but I never went all in on it because I thought there was no hope for games in that path. That was the furthest from the truth and only made me have nothing to put in my portfolio at the end of the day. No projects that felt like me, just a bunch of projects anyone could have followed a tutorial for. This route was burning me out. I hated computer science, but I kept telling myself it was the only future I had to becoming a game designer. And then the dreaded season every high schooler detests came rolling around. Application season. I had always thought I wanted to go to MIT for computer science. I had toured the place, I got into the best high school, and I had all the grades and extracurriculars to back it up. But something changed in me as I was writing my essays. I didn't even know if it was the right place for me. I visited in 7th grade and was enamored with it. How could I possibly change my mind now? Was I not meant to be a game designer? What was I going to do? I decided to look around for colleges, and ultimately I found NYU. NYU had one of the best game design programs in the US. It wasn't labeled as computer science, it was actual game design. I had been so focused on MIT for the past few years that I hadn't even looked up any game design programs. I fell so in love with NYU that I didn't even apply to MIT. I found out about NYU 2 weeks before the deadline, but I was determined as hell to make it work. I spent every day meeting the teachers, revising my essays, and I didn't even have a portfolio at this point. So I decided I was going to try and make my final biology project into a game that I could use. I did have to get an extension on it, and I legitimately wouldn't be here without my amazing professor, Dr. Almacher. So if you somehow watch this video, truly thank you so much. You were and have always been the best. And here's another cat picture just for you. Yeah, that's an inside thing. What about it? It was winter break. I was pulling all-nighters in my grandparents' basement, watching tutorial videos on how to code a game in GML, which I had researched is what NYU students use to code in one of the required classes. I studied the best ways to keep energy while working for long periods of time. I curated the perfect routine to keep me on track. I would work until I was tired, or my grandparents would call me for meals. And for breaks, I would get up and do Just Dance off of YouTube and read 5 pages of a book. I kept lists of to-dos that were priority, what videos I had to watch to get through to the next hurdles, and intermittently revised my essays with fresh perspectives. I had sheer determination and my grandparents were genuinely concerned. I worked through Christmas, Boxing Day, and all I could think of was this game. I had no other portfolio piece to my name, but I would still earn this with my sheer willpower. It came to submission day, and I had never felt so much relief. I wasn't working anxiously, but with a deep sense of knowing it would work out. Much like this channel, if I think about it. The months coming before the decision letters would come out were the ones where I had to do my best not to crumble. Every person looked at me and looked at NYU and told me not to get my hopes up. I had looked up manifestation tactics, spells, and was only consuming self-help books. I knew better than to let their doubts fuel my fears. My best friend at the time, who was my roommate, even gave up hope for me. She told me that even if I got in, I couldn't go because it would be too expensive. I told her everything would work itself out, but in truth, it scared me. What if she was right? I had lived with her for 30 years, and she knew me better than I knew myself sometimes. I could feel the judgment when I told her I knew I was getting in. I could feel the judgment from anyone when I told them I was getting in. Was I being cocky? I wasn't trying to be. I just felt something in my core that told me I belonged at NYU, and I was following it. Nobody could tell me otherwise. When the decision letter came out, I already knew what it said, but I waited to open it. I was at the mall with my mom, and she said to me that if it's not the decision I want, she'd be there for me. You could see on her face the preparation to console. I always hate when people lose belief. I felt like I was the only person who knew I could get in. I opened it up, and I wasn't as excited as I was prepared. I felt happy, but I also felt my roommate's words in my head. What about the financial package? It's a full ride. Huh? Holy shit. I'm actually doing this! I'm going to New York. So off I went the next year to New York. As scary as a big city may be, I felt as calm as ever. I knew it was where I belonged. I was meant to be here. I spent 3 long years making games at NYU's Game Center, and now I am here, making this video. Am I working in the game industry? No. Do I want to be? Still, maybe no. I made the mistake of trying to minor in computer science because NYU wants game designers to be all-rounders, and my coding skills needed to be helped. I dropped the minor once I realized I have so much more passion for art. I was so excited to be a game artist. I started looking up jobs that fit my mold, and I was so inspired by how creative artists in the industry were. That was until my junior year at NYU took the love of game design from me. My professors put way too much pressure on being all-rounders and also pushed AI onto the students. I don't use AI, and I will never as an artist, but seeing my professors tell us that they use it and actually suggest we use it was really disheartening. I still love game design, but I'm rethinking if it's just like not the path for me anymore to success. I can make people happy in other ways with my art, and that's okay too. So, with that, I am going into my last year of game design at NYU with no will to actually make games. Will I survive? Of course. But how I grow is up to how I play my cards. This is just my end of video reminder to stay happy and stay cutesy and to remember that it's okay to grow out of your passions. I curated my identity so closely with being a game designer, and now that I'm drifting from it, I feel like I'm growing more than ever. I don't regret my path whatsoever, and I wouldn't change a single thing. I think I wouldn't have gone all in on this whole YouTube thing if I hadn't lost my passion for game making. I still love making games, but maybe not for the long term. If you found this video entertaining or want to stay updated on what I do next, like and subscribe. I truly love each and every one of you, and thank you so much for being here. Bye!